Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to another episode of News Dose, where I give you all of the latest gaming news. And finally, the price of the PlayStation 5 has been revealed, and I think fans are really going to like this. It's certainly been a long time coming, and I know fans have been very eager to find out about that, so we're going to talk about that and what this means for Sony. Not just that though, but we also got to see some major games today for the PlayStation 5. We do have a fan favorite game returning as well, which I'll talk about at the end, but because this is a special episode, I want to get right into the PlayStation 5 news. So let's get right into it because there was some huge news dropped here, and right away, let's discuss the price point of these consoles because we've waited far too long. The PlayStation 5 comes in at $500, which is pretty much what I expected, but the big surprise here was that the digital edition is $100 less, making it $400. This is a great price point, and I was not expecting that. I figured it would be a $50 difference as Blu-ray drives do not cost $100. The thing is, digital games do make more money than physical, as I've mentioned in the past, so Sony was probably very willing to take a loss here. And I do guarantee they're taking a big loss with the digital edition. Seriously, they did hit the sweet spot for the price on this though, and this put Sony in a prime position to really sell a ton of PlayStation 5s. Now the Xbox Series S still has an advantage on the price still, but I think that this is really going to have consumers debate on what they want. The PlayStation 5 digital edition is more powerful than the Series S, so it'll be very interesting to see what consumers choose between the two. Budget does always matter, and that $300 is very enticing, but a $400 PlayStation 5 is a phenomenal price. Now we can also say the same about the Series X though. The Xbox Series X is more powerful than the PlayStation 5, so fans will once again need to decide if they want to spend that extra $100 for the Series X, or for that matter, the standard PlayStation 5. Now as for this holiday, the Video Game Chronicles is reporting that the digital edition will have significantly less supply this holiday compared to the standard version, so it may be hard to come across, so do keep that in mind. What about the games though? Well, Sony did have a few really big announcements here. They started off the show with Final Fantasy XVI. This one was rumored for quite a while, and it really looks like a mix of Final Fantasy XV with the action-based combat style with the world of Final Fantasy XIV. The design here really reminded me a lot of Final Fantasy XIV, and I don't see that as a bad thing. Final Fantasy XIV has some great stories once you start hitting those expansions, and some fans even believe it to be the best in the franchise, so I'm not against that at all. It does look a little bit more mature than the previous games in the franchise, and the graphics aren't stellar, but I'm very interested in this one. The big megaton though was right at the end as they announced Final Fantasy XVI as a PlayStation console exclusive. Now this will launch on the PC as well, but I do know that there is a question: what about Xbox? We've been hearing for a long time that this was going to be a timed exclusive, and so far this has not been confirmed, or at least as of this video. That's the thing though, PlayStation isn't always forthcoming with this type of stuff, and in fact, Deathloop, which has been confirmed to be a timed exclusive, also ended the exact same way, with a screen saying console exclusive. So don't be shocked if Final Fantasy XVI does come to the Xbox eventually. But either way, this is a very big deal. Timed or not, Final Fantasy is a huge franchise, and I'm sure it's going to be a system seller for Sony. We also got to see some new gameplay for Spider-Man Miles Morales, and this game looks just as fun as the first one. I loved the first game, and I'm expecting this one to be just as good and a really fun launch title. There was a big announcement with Miles Morales after the event though. Miles Morales has now officially been confirmed to be coming to the PlayStation 4 as well as the PlayStation 5. Not just Spider-Man either, because Horizon Zero Dawn Forbidden West and Sackboy will also be coming to the PlayStation 4. Yes, these are cross-generation games, which is very interesting. I'm personally okay with this, but I do know a lot of people believe cross-generation games hold next generation back. What's odd about these announcements though is that Sony just earlier this year was talking about how they believe in generations, and now all of these games are also heading to the PlayStation 4. And while I don't necessarily view that as bad news, I know this next part is not going to go over particularly well with a lot of fans. but Sony announced that several of their high-profile first-party games will be $70. Yes, Sony is on board for those $70 games. On one side, they got this amazing price for their PlayStation 5, but their games do appear to be increasing in price. This is something that fans absolutely did not want to hear, but there it is. $70 games are happening, and Sony is going to lead the charge. I've said this in the past, but I do understand why this is happening, because big AAA games have went up in cost for development, but on the other side of things, developers really need to calm down with microtransactions because gamers are not going to like that. For that matter, we are starting to see publishers experiment with in-game advertisements, and with $70 price tags, I'm really hoping that takes a back seat. We'll see what happens here, but this isn't the best news in the world that Sony will be charging $70 games for their next generation titles. Let's focus on the positive though, because we did get a Harry Potter reveal for Hogwarts Legacy. Now this one did leak last year, and it just kind of went away after that, but Harry Potter fans really need to be excited about this one. The visuals looked absolutely stunning, and it really seemed like they're bringing Hogwarts to life. This doesn't just seem like a cash grab either, and it actually seems like this is going to be a really good game next year. I know movie-related games has a bad reputation, but we are starting to see more good games like this, and technically, Harry Potter is a book. The Witcher, as an example, was a really good game, loosely based off of the books, so hopefully we can see the same thing with Harry Potter. Now, I do need to see some more gameplay though, because they didn't really show much of that, but as a Harry Potter fan, I'm excited for this one. Now, as for the PlayStation 5 exclusive that I have been the most excited for has been Demon's Souls, and we finally got the reveal for this game. I have to say though, this one was a bit of a mixed bag for me. On one side, it's Demon's Souls, and it's one of my favorite PlayStation 3 games, so I'm super excited about that. It also has beautiful visuals, but at the same time, something seems off with this game. The animations were kind of stiff, and it didn't really seem that there was much impact when enemies were hit. And something just did not seem right here. I'm kind of hoping this was an early demo, and it's improved since then, but it was revealed after the event that this is a PlayStation 5 launch title, so this is probably the final version. Maybe it's just me though, and I would love to hear your thoughts about the Demon's Souls remake. Do you think it looks good or not? Let me know in the comments below. There were a lot of strange things happening with Demon's Souls 2. It will be releasing on PC as well, but in the fine print, it also shows it's coming to other consoles in the future, which is very strange. From my understanding, Sony owns Demon's Souls, so this is very odd wording here. Now maybe this means it's coming to the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 4 Pro. Could that be possible? I would not rule that out, but yeah, this was one of the more odd announcements in recent memory. On one side, I love Demon's Souls, but I'm just not sold on the gameplay that they showed, and then on top of that, I'm very confused about the exclusivity on this game. They did have one last big announcement though. The God of War sequel will be coming to the PlayStation 5 next year. Yeah, let me say that again. The God of War sequel is coming to the PlayStation 5 in 2021. Now this is just my opinion, but I think it's very debatable that God of War for the PlayStation 4 was one of, if not the very best single-player experiences this generation. So this is a huge announcement, and I don't know if very many people were expecting a new one to release so soon, but there it is. I think that right there alone should have PlayStation fans very happy, and when you pair it with that $400 price tag, this is just an all-around really good event. I mean, sure, Demon's Souls didn't really look as good as I wanted it to, and they might be misleading fans with Final Fantasy XVI, and if that is the case, I will surely update you on that. Either way, that price tag is just wow, and that really is the big news here. The event itself didn't really blow me away with the games per se, but that price alongside God of War coming in 2021 made this event a solid 8 out of 10 for me. I will ask you though, what did you think of this event, and what would you rate it? Let me know in the comments below. Now, I do have one last topic because PlayStation was not the only big event today, as Oculus VR also got a new event and some huge games were quietly announced here as well. So let's go over this real quick. So some fan-favorite franchises will be heading to Oculus VR. Yeah, that's right, those rumors of Splinter Cell and Assassin's Creed being made for the Oculus VR headsets was indeed true. We have talked about this on the channel on multiple occasions, and I thought that they would have announced that last week at Ubisoft Forward, but instead they were revealed here today at Facebook Connect. That's actually too bad because I imagine more gamers would probably have focused on Ubisoft Forward, as most gamers do not really associate Facebook with gaming, and I watched this event live. Yeah, it was very boring, but at least Splinter Cell is finally back. Unfortunately though, we did not get any gameplay here, and they just kind of acknowledged their existence and then moved on. Now that's the really irritating part about this whole situation, because Splinter Cell fans have been waiting for such a long time to see a new game, and to not show gameplay is a little bit of a letdown. I mean, we didn't even get a small teaser, and honestly, a lot of fans are upset that this is not a new traditional Splinter Cell game. I mean, I can understand that. It's kind of like the Half-Life Alyx announcement all over again. Half-Life fans waited for what seemed like forever, and then when Valve finally announced a new game, they had to buy into VR, which not everybody is sold on for multiple reasons. Keep in mind though that Half-Life Alyx remains one of the best games this year. I loved it personally, and it really is as good as everybody claims. So Half-Life Alyx does show that you can make a big AAA game like this and debatably be just as good as standard games if done right. So I do have high hopes for Splinter Cell VR. All I'm saying is that even though this is not a traditional style game, it does not mean it will be bad. And on the contrary, I think it actually has a lot of potential. Of course, we need to see some gameplay first, but still, I'm happy to see Splinter Cell finally make a comeback, even if it is in virtual reality. With that said, I'm not exactly sold on Assassin's Creed coming over to VR, but I'll cross my fingers on that one as well. Who knows, it could end up surprising me. They did announce a few other games here though as well, such as a new Star Wars game, Jurassic Park, and even multiplayer for the hit title Beat Saber. The big announcement, however, was the Oculus Quest 2 VR headset. Now, we did talk about this a couple days ago as the Quest 2 leaked online, but it has now officially been confirmed to start at just $300. That is an insane price for what you're getting with the Quest 2. I mean, this thing is significantly more powerful than its predecessor, it's lighter, more comfortable, and it's a standalone VR headset that can also be connected to your PC to play PC VR games. So this is a fantastic price point, and hey, if you're wanting to play that new Splinter Cell game, this may be a great way to do just that. Anyways though, that's it for this episode, but if you liked the video, don't forget to bell notification and subscribe button for more content just like this. Also, if you'd like to support the channel through Patreon, thank you for making this content possible. Peace out.